Okay, it's been a bit of a nightmare. I apologize if anyone's waiting. Welcome to my nightmare. Um, just kidding, kind of, a little. Hello and welcome to Real Talk with Angry Soccer Mom. Hopefully this will be the good one that takes. Nails and glitter, yay! Having a tech nightmare here. Welcome to the live show, yahoo! I hope you can hear me and see me. And if you can, we're all set. The live show discussion topics, as always, are anything you feel is newsworthy about racism, bigotry, inequality, and corruption in America. T. Rogers, welcome! Yay! And that's everything, so feel free to bring up any topic you want, okay? If I don't know about it, you can tell us about it. The show's meant to be an opportunity for viewers to speak their mind and also serve as an educational tool and cultural competency, focusing on learning the truth about our real, racial history and systemic racism, and to help white folks understand what's really going on in our country. I think some of us might be a little bit, but we got a long ways to go. So thanks for being here. Quick announcements. Thank you everybody, and I've been getting amazing news from people, cutting edge news. Boop. And if you want to get a hold of me and say hi, please consider jumping right on and to my YouTube channel and personal messaging me. That's pretty much the only way you can personal message me. Hello, Carried Back. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Yay. It wasn't easy getting on. Thanks for bearing with me. Let me see. Quick announcements, and we will get started. A lot is going on, and it's all really scary. As usual, but a few good things are possibly on the horizon. I don't know. You tell me if these are good things. All right. March 7th at 9 Eastern. That's this coming up Sunday. It's going to be the first book chat group meeting. At the meeting, I will quickly summarize the first chapter of this lovely book. And it is for beginners, but actually it can kind of be for everybody. If you're working your way up the anti-racism scale, if you're a white person, there's a lot. It's a dense book. Let's put it that way. So I will summarize the first, briefly, the first chapter, and then I'm going to hopefully have a panel of people who want to make a comment on it, on what's going on, and then we'll go around and we'll go from there. So please join me. I have an invitation that's been sent out to groups, but not individuals yet. And I will definitely get it out, at least by tomorrow. I'm hoping to get some people on the panel. I'm doing free streaming from 3 to 5 on Sunday, each Sunday, which means I hang out and you talk to me about whatever you want. Say hi, leave, come back, or just anything. Ask me things, or tell me about you, or call in. So today, after the rant, if you want to call in, I would so love it. I will put the number up. It is right here. And let's get started. No news to note today. There was too much. Tonight's topics that I have set, which we can talk about anything you have in mind. Number one, George Floyd's Justice in Policing Act. What you think about it, where you think it'll take us. If you think it'll pass, I probably should, but March 4th, QAnon conspiracy plot. That will be tomorrow. So will it be another January 6th, or will it just be hype from some very, very disturbed people? Kind of scary stuff. I wanted to talk about my third topic is the top 10 things that white employers or bosses need to know. Basically, how they shut down talking about racism. I've heard from so many people how they shut it down. Obviously not all of them, but I'm gonna, if my sampling is accurate, pretty much most of them. And there's a number of reasons why, and I'd like your input on that. Also, I talk a little bit about Dr. Seuss's racism and the far right losing their shit over it, which is kind of typical, I suppose. But first I'll start off with a rant. It should be a quick one. I'm not trying to obsess on this woman, but Marjorie Taylor Greene seems to be the, let's just say, it seems to me, and tell me what you think on this, she is kind of going to be, she kind of represents the GOP, but I think they're letting her do their dirty work for them. Like, she'll say it all, and she'll be really out there, and they just won't say, be quiet. It's one of those condoning through, not doing anything. I don't know, but she is really, really, really out of control and really vocal about it too. I'd be so embarrassed if I were her. I'd be so incredibly ashamed of myself. But then again, I'm not her. So that's what my rant's on tonight. I hope it doesn't get old, but this woman is out of control. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's the epitome of white privilege in America. She's the poster child. She could be in the dictionary. She's so entitled that she actually believes that she is the oppressed one. Okay, yes, you heard me correctly. This week, Representative Greene embarrassed herself while speaking to Congress about her opposition to the H.R. 1 bill, also known as the People's Act. The H.R. 1 bill passed in the House of Representatives and is waiting for Senate approval. The bill is a comprehensive and detailed set of directives that will greatly expand. Well, basically we have nothing now. Access to the ballot box for everybody, reduce the influence of big money in politics. Oh my gosh, we so need that. And strengthen ethical rules for public servants. So that's kind of a lot, and that's exactly pinpointing what we need. I don't know how effective it'll be, but for the love of God, we got to get this thing through. The bill speaks to the core of our democracy because it's addressing systemic racism, economic inequality, and corruption by those who hold power and prestige in our, governmental roles. Marjorie Taylor Greene spoke at the U.S. House of Representatives saying that the real oppression is going on, with her. She's the victim. That's really almost too hard to handle, listening to such bullshit. She's the victim because of what's going on in Congress, since members of Congress have to go through some sort of metal detector to enter the building, and sometimes congressional representatives must wait a few minutes in line to vote. I cannot find a violin small enough to play for her. She is unstinking believable. Sadly, Greene is grossly out of touch with reality. She has the gall to compare waiting in line for 5 freaking minutes as in the Capitol building to the extreme voter suppression of Black, Brown, Indigenous people, and many people who are in lower income levels who are white as well, that we endured in our supposed democratic republic after the Voting Rights Act was gutted in 2013 and before its enactment. So basically, this conspiracy pushing anti-LGBTQ, don't even get me started on that, racist, bigoted, mass shooting denier had the audacity to compare her own inconvenience of having to go through a metal detector to enter the walls of Congress, which of course is partially her doing as well, since she's the one that insists on pushing absolutely false narratives and total BS. Don't even get me started. Her argument isn't just a false equivalent, it's laughable. It's seeped in ahistorical misinformation, white entitlement, and complete utter lies. She is absolutely full of shit, and she's lying. We all know it, and it's getting really old. And the GOP, is kind of just letting her do her thing. And that's what we white people do is, we're not racist. Oh no, but we just don't stop it when other people are. I'm sorry. If you sit there and watch GOP and anyone else who's with it, then you are doing it yourself. And I'm awfully sorry. You cannot separate the two. So the GOP is letting her be the fall gal or whatever. I don't know what you call it, but it's disgusting. She is now speaking for the GOP, I suppose. According to the Woodward tapes. Well, so during the 2020 election and obviously 2016 as well, but voters in Black, Brown, and Indigenous areas and poor white communities were subjected to overwhelming amounts of voter suppression and denial because they gutted the bill. It's a long story. I have a video on it. According to the Woodward tapes, Trump's son was quoted as saying they didn't take action to stop COVID-19 because it would devastate Black neighborhoods who historically vote Democrat. and it would be better for Republicans. So, wow. I guess that could be considered murder, voter suppression through murder, or I don't know what to say. Voting booths were closed, places to purchase the correct identification to vote were shut down, as were posted box drop-offs to, with completed ballots. In some states, fake drop-off boxes were put out and not brought in. In many states, voters were automatically purged from the voter registry list without their knowledge. Many states had very specific voter identification requirements in order to vote. So you get there, you think you're okay, and you can't vote. I mean, this is voter suppression, on steroids. In some cases, fees to purchase these IDs were so incredibly high and also acted as a deterrent, to purchasing them, because you can't afford food. You certainly can't afford to buy an ID to wait in line for 1,000 years to vote. DMVs were closed, requiring transportation and gas money needed to travel to obtain the proper identification for certain states. Formerly incarcerated people who had served their time have been made ineligible to vote in many states. The U.S. mail service was purposely slowed down at the federal level. In some states, if you hadn't voted in the previous election, you were automatically purged off the registry. And some voters had so many polling places closed, they had to wait up to 11 hours in line to cast their vote. A number of states made rules against mail-in voting. One state tried to demand that signatures of voters all be matched directly with the signature they had when they were 18 years old and signed up to vote, which for 70-year-old or 80-year-old or 60-year-old or hell, 50-year-old, it's probably not going to happen. There was gerrymandering of districts to favor GOP candidates. There was prison gerrymandering. That was kind of new. I learned about that a couple months back, where incarcerated people's votes count in the prison district instead of where they actually live. Honestly, I could go on, but I won't. Don't worry. I can simply say this. Marjorie Taylor Greene is an entitled, arrogant, racist, lying xenophobe who pushes misinformation, conspiracy theories, and is complete and utterly full of shit. I had BS written, but I thought a stronger word would suffice. All in the name of hatred, entitlement, white supremacy, and systemic racism. She's a threat to the spirit of our Constitution and a traitor to our democratic republic. And the scariest part of it all is the GOP seem to be backing her all the way. The Trump's GOP is absolutely the party of hate. Rant over. I just had to go there because I saw her and I could not take it. Welcome, Ramses. Welcome. Oh, you just finished White Fragility. Awesome. I hope you come to the. That's awesome. I hope you come to the book club starting this Sunday. Let me just back it up. Thank you so much for being here. Sorry, it's such a rough start today. Let me see. Dave, hello. I hope you're still here. And I know Carrie Back and T. Rogers and Nails and Glitter might still be here, I hope. GETV, hello. And I Am Legend, thanks for being here. Got some comments already. GETV, did you know 30 years ago was the day Rodney King beating by Los Angeles police officers? Do you see any similarities? Yeah. Yeah. The LA riots, or the Rodney King riots, or whatever people want to call it, is very, very, very much in my heart and my life forever and always. I worked in Compton, California as a school teacher during the LA riots. I stayed late that day. And at the time, I was kind of oblivious. You know what? A lot of people were oblivious. And I went home late, but not too late. And I got home and I saw on TV what was going on. And I was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. That I was just there. And not right just there at that corner, but I mean, I was in Compton, and Compton was pretty much burned down to the ground. And it reminds me, one of the first videoed, proof, even though we all knew it was happening forever and always, they caught what they did to that man on video, and they got off, pretty much. So it's absolutely disgusting. No, I did not know that. God dang, that was 30 years ago. That was my first teaching job. I taught fourth, fifth grade in Compton and loved my kids. My first children, I didn't have children. They were my babies. 37 kids in my first class. Incredible kids. Just incredible. I had them for 2 years each, so I got to keep them for 2 years as my children. And wow. Those riots that ensued really shook the world, and definitely those kids were, my kids were 8 and 9 years old, so every last one of them. It was pretty crazy. So anyway, yes, oh boy, I didn't realize it was today, but thank you for that. Interesting. Really shaped the kind of person I am today by seeing for my very own self these beautiful, beautiful children redlined into infrastructure that was absolutely falling apart, with no grocery stores and gang violence everywhere, no infrastructure. My babies were innocent, darling, beautiful human beings that did not deserve it. So it's definitely a walk down memory lane. Came back the entire, they didn't let anyone come back after that. The riots began, and there were thousands of people injured and thousands arrested, and it was. I don't blame them one bit. I got it. As much as a white person could ever get it, I got it. So that's where I was, and a year. I ended up stopping working there because it was incredibly dangerous. That was kind of just pre-cell phones. Like, I didn't have a cell phone. Only basically doctors or I would say doctors or a drug dealer or I don't know had a cell phone. It was just not. Great question. Do I think it might happen again if these 4 new officers are not found guilty? I mean, people, we saw this man snuff the life out of a human being on live TV, basically. We saw him murder this man as he cried for his mother. And the smug look on his face is something that I'll never be able to erase from my memory. And yes, I don't know. I don't believe in this country anymore at all. I always had hope, and I got to tell you, I'm down to my last little this is not a complex thing. This is not a controversial issue. This is supposed to be what our country's about, and I can't stand making it. And I'm not saying you're doing that, because you're not, but I cannot stand that this is some controversial issue. Whether or not we support and afford equity to our fellow humans in America, a country that boasts liberty and justice for all. We are a crock of shit here. I'm sorry. So much potential. Yes, despite all that we've gone through, so much potential. We could be amazing. We could be freaking amazing. We just don't want to. I guess amazing to me isn't amazing to everybody. My idea of amazing would be to eradicate systemic racism. Eradicate it from this country and go from there. Now, I know we can do it. We just don't want to. The powers that be, the wealthiest elites, the white people they've suckered into believing all this bullshit and lies, they don't want to. And it's pathetic. And not to be the soothsayer of doom, but I truly, truly believe, like I've said many times, that this is really going to be, this is the twilight of our democracy. It really is. People are still following Trump, and they don't have to be. If they all got together and said, okay, we put up with him, we're done, now let's all, no, but they want to follow him. Okay? They're not, at first my hope was that was shattered. This is who we are, and this is who we've always been. And we've allowed the people of allowed people to become our leaders who are racist as fuck. Okay? And it's nothing new. It's just, I don't know about you, but I kind of thought 2021, we'd be headed in the right direction at least, but it's unbelievable. So anyway, enough about me and my big emotional spazzing out. Let me take some other comments. Yeah, it's still surreal to me. I'm not sure. I can't normalize it. I don't want to normalize it, but great questions, GETV. Yeah, I would not be surprised at all. I don't know anymore. I don't know anything anymore, like I ever did. Let me see. Getting rid of the filibuster. I haven't really read a ton about that because I've been so distracted. But I personally, I'm going to go with what our senators and House representatives think on that. I mean, it seems a little archaic, I guess. I don't know. But it's definitely a question. What do you think? And what does everybody here think? Let me know. I want to know. Tell me what you're commenting on, and I will be very happy to read it. Also, if you want to call in, the number is up above. It's a good question, though, Dave. I just don't know. Let me see. Ramses, the last chapter of the book is a whole course in and of itself. Yes. So we might not be getting through a whole chapter every week, but I mean, we can try. And I just want to have a discussion, and I sure hope people want to be on the panel, at least a few people. I know a couple who already want to, but I'd love to have people because I'm going to use it as a learning tool for the white people. And they can watch it, and they can learn and even join in. You know, obviously it's going to be for beginners, for teaching, but it's a pretty dense book, like I said. I'm sure you've noted. Let me see. T. Rogers, I don't believe it in this country anymore either. I'm so sickened by it all. Yeah, this is not a controversial issue. This is not like, let's have a debate. There's nothing to debate. You don't treat your fellow human like a piece of shit. End of conversation. That's why I'll never debate a Trump supporter, no offense, because there is an order of operations. First is humanism. Then party comes somewhere way, way, way down below. And people just don't seem to get it. It's called acting like we are given this gift of the ability to have critical thinking skills, the ability to analyze and think and have emotions, but not act on them. That's a gift. We're one of the only animals that have this. Being on the panel entails basically either being on, like I'm on, or just having your voice on, and you get to comment, make comments. You don't have to have your video on. You can have your video off and be on Zoom and just talk and say what you think, and you know what it's going to be about. Chapter 1, so it's going to be like really simple, and I'll go over stuff with you. I'll make sure everybody can get on Zoom. We'll do it ahead of time. So being on the panel just means that you're the go-to teacher. I don't want to talk. I'll do the summary. As a teacher, I'll do the summary. But I don't want to be talking. I want to be listening and learning as well at what you guys think. So PM me and I'll tell you all about it. That's a good question. Let me see here. Thank you, GETV. It's okay. I understand how you must be feeling. It's a very debilitating mindset. Yeah, it's Gigi. Hello and welcome. Racism is what this country was founded on, and it's in the DNA. It really does feel that way. Like Obama said, it's in the air we breathe. It's in every single facet of life, and it's very, very complicated in the sense that one would think it wouldn't be, but when you're indoctrinated into a culture of this. T. Rogers, I'll do it. This is an opportunity for my voice to be heard. I can talk, but I just don't want to be on screen. Absolutely. No problem at all. I don't even want to be on screen. And it's me. I'm supposed to be doing the hosting the show. So I totally understand. I'll be so thrilled to have you. You are wonderful. Yeah, that's why I put the option. If you don't want to be on screen, this is not about like, oh, me. It's about if you're comfortable just chatting, and you will get so used to it, you will not even think twice about it. Let me just back it up. Thank you, GETV. It's pretty emotional. Let me see. Gigi, well, we would say it was founded on slavery. Yes, which systemic racism. Yeah, absolutely. Right, right, exactly. Yeah, it's this. I mean, that's mincing words. We all get it. I mean, people here at least do. It's yeah, this and indoctrination, and all of the above. And we white people cannot let this go. We cannot stop. And I have no more. I'm losing my tolerance. For this kind of thing. I'm happy to educate people, but this is surreal. This is not a hard concept. God, I just don't even get it. All right, enough of me yipping and yapping. We have a lot of things to talk about. T. Rogers, I am thrilled, and you'll do great. It's absolutely. Have you all seen gas prices went up because of Biden's war on oil, which also drives up food costs? I don't go anywhere because of COVID, so I haven't really noticed. Let me see. Gigi, right. Can't have slavery without racism, absolutely. And that is, right. T. Rogers has to be tackled at the source. Yep. And I'll tell you, tonight I have a couple topics that, kind of surround that, and I want to know what you think. The first thing I wanted to do, and this is kind of crazy, but I don't know if you guys saw some of the hearings on what happened, but there is no doubt in my mind, and there never was, but just having this kind of proof is like that Trump purposely held off allowing people to come in and stop the terrorists on January 6th for the Capitol building. So I want to show you a quick 40-second clip of something that is like all the proof I ever need. I believe him. This is exactly what I thought went down. It's disgusting, and I truly believe that the GOP is clinging on to this, and they are going to be they're going to be the beginning of the end of our democracy, unless something changes very, very soon. Just my take. I'm not a politician. I didn't go to school for political science, but I am a human on the planet, and they're still following Trump. So enough of that. I will switch it over to this very quick clip that I want you to see. And you might have already seen it. It's kind of been all over, I think, but I'm not sure. So check it out. And then tell me what you think.
So my question is, in June of 2020, as violence was escalating during the summer protest, were you able to immediately receive approval from the Secretary of the Army and the Secretary of Defense to deploy National Guard to assist law enforcement at that time?
Senator Peters, I was. Yes, sir. The Secretary of the Army was with me for most of that week. He came to the armory. I was in constant communication with him when we were not together.
So you were immediately able to receive approval in June of 20. From your testimony, I want to be clear. Were you able to immediately receive approval from the Secretary of the Army and the Secretary of Defense to deploy the National Guard on January 6th?
No, sir.
Oh my. Do, 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 do. And that's all she wrote. Make sure I'm back. All right, people. What do you think? That's incredible. He said it all. He said everything that needs to be said, at least for me. So what do we have here? GTV, the country of America has certain very fragile, bigoted people who hand down racism like an inheritance, mostly taught in the homes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And my next two videos are going to be my own rendition of the top 10 things you can do to not raise racist, bigoted children. And that's been a goal of mine since before my children were born. It's extremely important to me to raise citizens of the world, and that's what I call it. Yes, it is slightly arrogant for me to think I can put out a video like that, but I'm going with it. I have, oh my God, over 45 years of experience, actually 50 if you add it all up, and I was a school teacher for a very long time. And if there's one thing I get kids. And you can raise children who love and adore their fellow humans. And sampling of one, I'm living proof of it. And it is not hard to do. But as a role model. And you can also raise kids that are indoctrinated into this system of absolute racist baloney, who are hurtful and hateful and will raise their own families to be racist as hell. So I have 2 videos coming out that are going to be had 50 things, 2 top 10s on, if you're white, how to raise children that are not racist. And there's a lot of things in there that you probably wouldn't maybe have believed. I think a lot of it has to do with the sanctity of life, and that you show that you value life and all lives, not just some. But anyway, I'm going to put those out. I hope that you like them and can spread them, because one of the only things we really have is our ability to do grassroots, get white parents to realize that you are raising the next generation. And I don't care how much you love your country. This country is not going to survive, nor are any countries, unless we work together as a global unit. Climate change. Hello, did you see the storm in Texas? I mean, I don't know what else to say. I do not think we have a lot of time. And we don't have time for this selfish, my country's the greatest. Like, what are we, like 3? My God. Your country's really great. Well, yeah, if there's no air to breathe and there's no water to drink, your country's not so great. And it's already happening. Disaster after disaster, unlivable conditions and whatnot. You don't need me to tell you. So, ta-da! GETV, I hear you. Carried back. They're beyond the beginning. The question is, how close to the end? Yeah, I was being nice. You're right. I was trying to be positive. All right. If nobody has any topics or wants to call in, I have a quick spiel here, and it's kind of interesting. So many people went to this that were famous black leaders in America that I'm going to have to cut it off and not read all of them, because there's too many. I'll just try to read like the most famous ones, I guess, or I don't know. Oh, a call. Uh-oh, unknown person. Welcome to the show. Hi.
Hello.
Hello, welcome. What's going on?
Hi. Is there a specific topic tonight?
What's that? Say it again.
Is there a specific topic that you're talking about?
Yeah, I'm just starting the topics. The topic that I'm about to get into is the civil rights leaders calling on Congress to pass the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act. And I'm really excited about that. But you can talk about anything you want having to do with racism, bigotry, inequality, and corruption. Whatever you want to talk about is fine, because it's an open show. I just prep things, just in case nobody's here. So what are you thinking?
Well, I know that your channel is about race, injustice, equality. Well, today, I experienced racism. It was like blatant racism from this idiot. And I live in New York, so you know how some people on the train, they can be crazy. Mm-hmm. So, I guess it was like a homeless person. They pooped in the train station, and it was like this. This is kind of disgusting.
It's okay. Hey, bring it on. This is real talk, and it ain't real talk for nothing. Go ahead. You're fine. I'm
But it was like a huge pile. So I was like, ew. And I was trying to walk around it. And there was this guy. I guess he was in a rush. And he was like, move, monkey. That's what he said.
Are you freaking kidding me?
That's what he said. And I guess he thought that I wasn't going to say anything back to him. But I really cursed him out really bad. And this is another TMI. I'm PMSing. I'm not going to say the word.
Bring it on. Bring it on. Say what you want. It's fine.
Yeah,
I
don't know if I'm going to make your viewers uncomfortable, but yeah, I'm PMSing. So that was extra of why I went crazy. I know you don't know me personally, but my temper is crazy anyway. So I really like cursed him out for like 5 minutes straight, and he didn't say anything back to me.
Good.
Because, usually people like that that make comments like that are cowards.
Yeah.
Especially, like, to me, like, I'm short, like, me, and I'm a female, like, I was by myself,
God. It's so nervy what he did to you. I'm so sorry. What a jackass. Dang.
Yeah, exactly. But, yeah, so for me, I'm, a lot of people don't like me. I'm not going to get into that. So for me, for you to call me a name, I'm not going to cry about it. I'm going to call you something back. Like, I'm one of those type of people, like, and I'll just curse you out and just keep it moving. But, so, my boyfriend is white, and I was on the phone with my boyfriend at the time, like, on FaceTime. And he was listening to it, and he was like, oh, you shouldn't have cursed. You shouldn't have went on like a long ramble about it. He was like, oh, you should have just said something and kept walking. And I felt like he was right, because it's like, it's not even that it's New York. Like, some people are crazy. Like, he could have turned around and, like, shot me or something,
For your own safety. Yeah. For your own safety, right. Because, I mean, it's New York. Yeah. But still, God, I mean, you're allowed to be you. And you shouldn't have to.
And I know this is a phone call, but, and you don't know me, but I definitely do not, like, even look like a monkey at all. Like, and I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but some people do, like, and regardless of race or anything, that's one thing I think is ridiculous, when certain people, whoever it is, white, Spanish, tries to call black people monkeys. Like, there are people that have like monkey features in every race. Like, there are people with big ears in every race. There are people with like, it's just a thing, because I mean, humans are closely related to apes anyway. So it's not even just.
You're way too kind. Honestly, you're way too kind. The man doesn't even deserve this kind of analysis. I don't care if you look like, you don't look like. It's absolutely a moot point. What this man did to you was abhorrent, and he deserves whatever he gets and more, in my personal opinion. Not that you're asking, but that this is still happening. He was basically throwing a racial slur, He was throwing a racial slur at you, and it didn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, the point isn't, like, he knew what he was doing. You could have been like Miss America, and it wasn't about looks. It was about power. This person's a sicko.
Well, I mean,
a sicko.
I found it interesting, and I'm gonna get off. I don't know if someone else wants to call in.
You're fine.
But
yeah.
I just found it interesting that when I said something back to him, he just, like, he kept, like, he didn't say anything else to me. He just kept walking. Like,
Yeah, and, we can never, he was, right, like T. Roger says, he was trying to demean you. He was trying to demean you. He was trying to, incredibly inappropriate. Like, if you want to get by somebody, you don't have to bring race into it. You say, oh, excuse me, or even if you're a jerk, you say, move it or whatever. But that speaks to his character, which is pretty much zero. And I am so sorry that happened to you. But there's no excuse. There's no excuse for him.
This is my last comment.
Absolutely.
But honestly, I was kind of disappointed in myself, like, as a black woman, the way I was, like, screaming and yelling and stuff. But, I just kind of lost it when he said that to me. Because for me, I don't carry myself that way. I'm not loud. I'm not, like, I'm not, the stereotype people try to
right.
push. for black people, but when
Yeah.
I get angry, that's when all that goes out the window. So
Well, no,
yeah, I was kind of disappointed in myself, and like one guy like in his car, or whatever, like he was like, "Oh, don't ever let anybody get you out of your character." And that's what my boyfriend told me too. He's like, "Oh, why are you giving so much energy to these people that are nobodies?" Like,
well, making a racial slur that is so blatant and so cruel and so personal and so close is as a human, we can never say never. And how you react is how you react. And please forgive yourself. You've done nothing wrong. You're allowed to be whoever you are, and you can't tell. Nobody knows. People always say, "Well, I never." Well, you know what? Try it sometime. Nobody knows how they'd react to that. And please don't be ashamed of yourself. You have done nothing wrong. You're the victim of this. T. Rogers says you don't have to apologize. Anybody can be loud. Don't get caught up in those stereotypes. Yeah, I mean, this whole angry black person thing is a disgusting, disgusting stereotype. Anybody of any race can be loud and
the
cuss
thing is,
people out.
even if there are angry black people, like black people in America have every right to be angry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. Carrie Back says, and probably 6 years ago, he wouldn't have felt free and empowered to do that. The Trump era removed filters, restraints on civility, courtesy, respect, etc. We've got a lot of fixing to do. Carrie Back, great point. But please don't blame yourself.
It's not even like the fact that I felt like I should have said something to him. It's the way I did it. It was just really just not my character. It was just crazy, like.
Yeah, but
and I guess that's another
yourself.
reason why he didn't turn around, because I really turned into like a crazy person.
Well, you know what?
So.
You never know. Maybe you knocked some sense into him through, a verbal a beating that he deserved. But it's sort of because I'm a little bit like older person in my wisdom you don't know how you're going to react, and you can't judge yourself. You can't. You have a special protection, and you have every right to. And it's not ideal. Maybe ideal would be, "Oh, sir, that is very rude. You're inappropriate." I mean, but come on. Think of the climate we're in. Think of the climate we're in. I'd be like, seriously, what did you say? I'd force them to, and I don't know what I'd do, to be honest. I have no clue. See, I'm already saying I do this. I don't know what I do. Maybe I'd just be like, "Okay, get away, you freak," or whatever. I don't know. Because we don't know. So
Well,
don't be so hard on
that's
yourself.
another reason why people just need to just watch their mouths, because what if, like, my boyfriend, he was like, "Don't ever do that again. Like, don't ever, like, walk after somebody, because you don't know what he could have had on him."
For your own
and
safety.
Then he would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's true.
So thank God nothing happened of it.
Yeah. Because he's psycho.
Because he's
That's
a punk
crazy.
anyway. But I'm not gonna do that again. But it could have gone the other way for him too. Like, what if he said that to me and
you
I
said,
just,
"Hey."
like, had something on me and I went crazy on him, like, So I just think people just need to watch what they say. And I know, like, the culture of New York it's a lot of crazy people in New York, and it's a lot of, like, New Yorkers are very outspoken.
Yeah, they can get in your face.
It's different in, like, the South. Like, it's a lot of Southern hospitality. Like, if things are moved a little bit slower, New
Yorkers are their own brand. I know. Their own special brand. But please, just be who you are. Like T. Rogers says, who cares whether somebody thinks you're an angry black woman? That's on them. People who judge like that speaks to their lack of character, not yours. You have every right to be to protect yourself and I understand the safety issue. Obviously, your boyfriend's probably protective of you and like, "Oh my God, this could have been some psycho." And obviously, he was a psycho for saying that to begin with. But I'm just so sorry you had that happen, because you don't deserve it.
Okay, so it's not like he like looked me in my eye and said that to me. It's like as he was like saying it as he was passing, like, "Get out the way, monkey!" Like.
What a
Like,
yeah, he's a racist
but I
asshole.
could hear him.
Yeah. Oh no, under his breath like a coward. Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's yeah.
And the thing is, okay, he wasn't white though. He was like indigenous, Native American, like Spanish. Like, he had a mask on, but like I could tell like he was something, And that's the thing that has like I'm not the same person as when I was in high school and stuff and in school, but I really never experienced any blatant racism from and I don't know, maybe it's because I live in New York.
Was this your first
Well,
experience with this kind of like just in your face? Was it or not really?
no, I was going somewhere else actually because I said that he was not white. The experience that the old me, like in high school, had, it was like a lot of people that were not white being like the most racist. Like I think it was this one like fat Mexican girl, and she said the N-word to me. And I know like I'm calling in to your show,
That's
and
fine.
I'm just talking like you don't know me, but like my temper's really bad. Like I got suspended for 3 months because I was really trying to like hurt her, and she was like in the corner, and I was just throwing everything I could get my hands on at her because everyone was trying to like carry. Well, I keep saying me, but it's not me now. Like I would never do that. But the old me, out of the room and stuff.
It's a
I'm.
it's a
Yeah, I
lot to
just
deal
like.
with.
Okay, keep going.
It's
Sorry.
a lot to deal with. It really is. And, I cannot imagine how hard that kind of thing is. T. Rogers is saying other races are taught to hate black people as well. And that is incredibly true. In fact, you know what? I don't want to cut you off because I want to hear more about what you have to say. But just yesterday, I saw the black doll, white doll experiment, which it's the one that got, are you familiar with the Brown versus the Board of Education of Topeka, Kansas? It's a Supreme Court case that ended separate but equal. And I saw that experiment. It's a social experiment with little kids. I saw that done to little Latinx kids for the first time, and it was very interesting because at the end of it, it's on my YouTube if you want to check it out sometime. At the very end of it, it had a little girl saying in Spanish, "You're insulting me," and the speaker said, "What do you mean I'm insulting you?" He said, "You called me black," and it was like, whoa. So we are all just absolutely indoctrinated in this white
Well,
supremacy.
I have to disagree with you on that one. I don't think everybody is indoctrinated and that ignorant.
Well, not
think,
that
and
ignorant,
you
but
know,
and it's I think to certain levels. No, they're not all that ignorant, but we're indoctrinated into this like
not everybody is that like indoctrinated and with the colorism and stuff like that. I know for a fact that the people that are and promote colorism are like dumb because somebody's skin tone is not, it doesn't make or break them. Like honestly, just speaking frankly, what makes somebody ugly or whatever it's their face and how, and I don't know, it's their face and then a little bit of their body, like hair and skin, that stuff is like superficial because it's tons, and I'm not trying to be offensive to you at all.
You're not offensive to
like,
me.
you're a very nice lady, but it's tons of very ugly white people I've seen with like long blonde hair, blue eyes, and ivory skin. Like, it doesn't, like, no. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I absolutely, I understand what you're saying. And just to clarify, I don't think everyone is overtly off the charts racist. I think it's a continuum, but we all, I feel personally, this is my opinion, that we're all, as a white person, we're all indoctrinated into it at some level or another. Like T. Rogers says, our racist society teaches everyone to be indoctrinated about seeing black people as the worst of all races. That's her comment. And Gigi says, I love being me. I'm glad for you. That makes me happy. You know, it's just to what degree? What degree?
Well, I
you know?
also think that it's like, you know, if all the minorities united, then racist white people, racist white America would be in trouble. So the division is like a tactic, like race, all of that. That's not like you know, that's not even like a thing. Like
Right.
I think of race as like so like let's say people are like flowers, like it's different type of it's different types of flowers, like roses, it's daisies, it's blah blah blah, like you know, like it's
Absolutely.
like
Well, we're all
and then-
relatives. We really are all relatives, and that's the truth of the matter.
Yeah,
Distant,
and-
but we are. Yeah, that's a good point.
and there's not really even like a genetic difference. Like we're all genetically the same. Like we're all human. And
Absolutely.
I feel like now they're trying to start a propaganda of trying to get Asian Americans against Black Americans because they're trying to, like, I saw this thing, and it wasn't like, oh, Asians being attacked. It was specifically talking about Black people attacking Asian people.
We've discussed a little bit of that here, and I know that's a wow. We definitely should have that topic on. I almost started that tonight. There's a lot of problems, and you know the wealthiest elites who the white wealthiest elites who have been running our country forever, absolutely love it when all the people who are being oppressed are at odds with each other, because that keeps us away from uniting and realizing who really is screwing us up and making us not be able to make ends meet and whatnot. It's the wealthiest elites, and I won't say my I won't say my famous Lyndon B. Johnson quote because I say it every time, but he definitely I posted it this week. He absolutely got it when he said all you need to do is I said I wasn't going to say it, but anyway, getting white folks to feel like they're cool and better than and all that just turns us into suckers, total suckers. So I'm just really glad you called in tonight because I want to hear the truth about what goes on in real life, and the white folks that listen to this, they need to hear the truth. We need to hear this from the people who are impacted by it. And that's you.
Well, I think that it just takes the right voice, and racism could be really fixed because we're all human. We have emotions. Like imagine where you were born, like you can't even go certain places. Like imagine feeling like that, like you can't even go to the store, like where you live, where most of the community funds this store basically because everyone goes there, but they have the audacity to follow you around and say things like hurry up and pay.
Yeah, or God forbid you go in and can't find what you want, and so you don't get anything, and then they think you stole something. I mean, it's like white folks don't have to deal with it. We get the benefit of the doubt, and you get the opposite, and it's obnoxious. It's really obnoxious. So. And
I've been saying this is my last comment.
No problem.
So, relating back to Asian Americans being attacked and stuff. First of all, that's a lie about Black people attacking Asian people because first of all, a lot of Black women, Black people, whatever, man, woman, love going to the nail shop. That's number one. And number two, they need the hair supply store. And number three, Asians and Black women really interact like that anyway. And you've never heard of Black people going after and attacking and committing hate crimes based on race. Because the Black people are some Black people, they're the victims of hate crimes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't even make sense. And then they have the hotline for agents to call. Like that's like that's just like a slap in the face.
It's a special
Like
privilege
where's
because
the
they're the
hotline?
yeah.
Where's the hotline for Black people?
Exactly. Yeah, it's really it's we have a white person problem in this country, and it just fluffs off to, and there's an order of operations, and for some reason black people are treated the most heinous, horrific way. I will never understand it. It seems to me, as a white person, that we should be bending over backwards trying to make sure an equity for a people with such a history that we did. And we did then, and we're still doing now. And I don't get it. But you've been great. I'm glad you called in. A lot of people have been making comments, and they want to have something to say. So you've got definitely done great by getting lots of conversation going. And I think you did
Okay.
just fine, and I'm very glad that you're okay. That man that did that to you is that's crazy. He's a psycho. And
Well,
this
I
day and
could
age.
tell you about and here goes like this is the thing, like you about your quote that you said, that's really true, except for the people that can like use their brain and see through the bullshit, because and I'm not the same person as when this happened, but it was another racist person on the train, and this was like a homeless woman.
Mm-hmm.
She this was like she was, and it's just like you're homeless in New York. You have to sleep on the concrete in like the winter, and you have the nerve to try to say something racist. Like what?
Yeah, people, here's Lyndon B. Johnson, and I'm going to say it. Sorry, I knew I would. Basically, not exactly the role model of, but he got it, and he understood. He understood. He said, it's very antiquated and very rude, but he said it and he got it. And this is what white people need to understand. We've been played the fool. If you can, and this is what he said, this is his quote, if you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him someone to look down upon, and he'll empty his pockets for you. And that is so true. We have been played the fool generation after generation after generation, and we keep doing it. And in this country, we as a people, white folks, really, really, really love making it seem like we have a black problem in America. Absolutely incorrect. We have a white person problem in America. And our white person problem is crystal clear. White folks, and not everybody, but you know what? It's enough that this is our culture still. We need to start acting like goddamn humans. And I'll say it, I've said it before and I'll say it again. It is unconscionable that there's still systemic racism prevalent in every single area of our life now. This is ridiculous. We need to grow the you-know-what up. And stuff like this should be something we're reading in old history, dusty history books from a long time ago in the dark ages when people were just acting like animals. But we're still doing it. So, sorry, kind of on a rant here, but anyway.
It's okay. I've been talking a lot. So.
No, you're great. But definitely call back in again. You're wonderful. That's very eye-opening for a lot of people, what happened to you, and I'm very sorry about it. But you are great. We don't tiptoe around white feelings on the show. It's called Real Talk. We don't berate white people, but we keep it real because we're trying to get conversation going, and it's not going to be this little disingenuous. Well, kind of, you got to keep it real. So I thought you were wonderful. So thank you so much, and I hopefully we'll talk to you again sometime. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sweetie. You're wonderful. All right. Talk soon. And definitely listen to the people have a lot of comments to say. That was great. Thank you so much for all your, I'm going to try to read everything that people had to say. brave woman coming in. She barely, she doesn't know me very well or whatever. And she came on and I love it. It's time to have your voice heard. It really is. It's like way past time. So that's what I'm here for. Let me just back it up. Let me see here. Excuse me. Oh, wow. The conversation goes way far back, and I will start. We're all the human race, T. Rogers. Gigi says true. T. Rogers, Asians look down upon blacks for sure. There is, in general, a very, very big problem in that regard. And I was just seeing a show, because obviously, I do a lot of research, where there are lots and lots of incidences. I was watching, actually, Philip Scott's show, and he has a bunch of different things on this topic about Asian Americans and black people, and there's a lot of racism in Asian countries. I know China is huge with racism. I'm not trying to just pinpoint China. There's many others, but they, I'm not being an apologist, but they did open up, like in my lifetime, to the world to actually see a black person, which is kind of interesting because the educated people in China are really not racist, in the sense that they're educated. They get it. I can't say they're not racist, but they are. They're not overtly. But yeah, we have some big inner problems within the minority groups, and a lot of people see anyone who is of Asian descent as this chosen minority, a minority, as in the sense that they are, the perfect minority, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. And it's extremely unfair, and I will never understand why people do this. But I can see there's a lot of resentment against Asian people, and I don't blame black people one bit. I don't blame them one bit for being like, oh my God, we've been trying to get our equity forever, and I get it. But it's more not exactly my place as a white person to get all opinionated about that. But I'd love to do a panel on it. Hello. Hi. Hello. Welcome. If you turn off your
Hi.
Can you turn off your sound? Oh, if you turn off your sound, we won't hear you in the background.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, man.
Can you turn off your sound in the background so that we can?
Oh. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Perfect. Welcome.
I was trying to mention how in the black community, in the black community, the beauty supply stores, Asian beauty supply stores, they follow black people around. But I was trying to think of the movie. I don't remember what movie it was. It shows how two black people went to the supply store to buy things, and the Asian people were following them around, the owners. Mm-hmm. But then a lot of other people of different races start coming to the store stealing things while the Asian owner was still following the black person around, not noticing all these other people stealing.
Right.
This is an example of how they keep an eye on us.
Yeah, and I not to usurp your time, but I just realized I saw a special also this week on the suppliers of Black and African American indigenous beauty products are oftentimes people who are Asian. And when black people try to get into the business, it was a black woman who wanted to get into the business and who was struggling terribly with racism by the suppliers. She literally could not get suppliers to give her the products she needed for her store. And so it's a big issue. It's a lot bigger than just a one-on-one. Suppliers aren't allowing it. Supplies that come out of China and India. And I should do a special on that because that's huge.
I thought when I do calls, it's not live.
What's that?
Your calls aren't live?
Yes, we're live.
Oh, because when I was called, I could hear myself on the thing. That's why I was just wondering.
There's a delay. There's a 4-second delay, enough to throw you off. But no, you're on.
Okay.
You're good.
Well, I'm just gonna listen for that part. I'm gonna listen to the whole thing, but then also hear about that part.
Yeah, but I definitely you kind of sparked my memory because I see so much news in 1 week. But there it was on a woman, a black woman who was opening her own shop. It's very exciting and an entrepreneur, and she was struggling with the companies because the Asian companies would not supply her, and that's really uncool because it's African American people who are buying from her. So
And I'm
what
seeing
the
the
hell?
African American community spends more money on hair products
Yeah.
than anyone.
Yep,
I mean, trying to meet the European standards of beauty.
Right, and they should be
why-
owners. They should be owners of those products and reap the benefits. Keep it in the black community as much as humanly possible. That is the way to gain wealth, and we all know it. And
Right.
it seems extremely unfair. What I was watching, it was very complicated, and I didn't have time to throw it together for this show. But I'd love to do a special on what's going on because I was watching Philip Scott, and he had some really interesting things to say about it, and it seemed incredibly unfair that they're cutting black people out of this market, which is their market. It's like Jesus. But anyway, I didn't mean to go on a rant here, but I always do. But what else? Do you
Okay.
want to say anything else, or that was? Do you have anything else?
Well, that was just that part. It just popped up. I wrote it down, but then I didn't know because there's so many other people writing. I didn't know if you actually saw that part. Since they were talking about the Asian at
Yeah,
that point.
yeah. I was kind of just going back, kind of reading everything. It's just we got some issues here, huh? we got some serious issues, but it kills me when white supremacists who run this country and who encourage ignorant white people to follow these lies get to the
Yeah,
point
and-
where they get to the point
ahead.
where go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say that I was the one that called you the other day.
I know I can tell your voice. Thank you. I was so thrilled. I could tell it was you. Thank you so much. I'm so happy that you called back too. That for the show, because that's what this is about. I want you to call. It's awesome. And then listen to me. I'm blabbing the whole time. But I was just gonna say that that the where was I?
The Asian community.
Yeah,
and beauty salon.
that like it's almost like the white supremacists win because they have pitted Asians against black people. That's disgusting. The white people
And also,
did this. We did
how
this.
people say black people are not trying to start their own businesses. They're not trying to do that. How can we do it when no one wants to help us?
Exactly. If they won't supply you, my God. I mean, what are you going to do? The hair products come out of Asia and India, Asia, China and India, the two Asian countries. And it's just like being able to see the finish line, but having somebody hold you back and not let you cross it. It's unbelievable. That's the products they made. The black Americans have this market that they should be running. It's not fair. So I'm hoping to do a special on that. That's going to take a lot of research. I wish I had a crew, but great points. So I'm glad that you called. Definitely call in anytime. I'm loving it.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you. You're wonderful.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you next time. Bye. Oh my gosh, she's awesome. I got to talk to this woman because I happened to be going by and she called my number and we just got to chat. And it was extremely cool. She's wonderful. Now, where was I? Let me see. Get back to totally losing it here. Oh, I have missed so many. I apologize. I'm backing it up. Oh my. Okay, I backed it up way too far. Sorry. If I do skip you, don't hate me. Just retype it down below and I'm just bad. I am bad. Not in a good way. I mean, bad. In a bad way. Racism is not going to be easy. It's entrenched in our society. I kind of backed up way up. Reformed millionaire. Reformed millionaire. Minister Farrakhan says at best we need to get rid of the termites. Yeah. Gigi, not in Chicago, Asian store owners are very disrespectful. Yeah, it's a really tough. And they get stereotyped too, and it's very, very difficult when I'm sorry, it is the white people who are pushing this narrative and they freaking love it. Let me see. T. Rogers, black people are extremely loving and welcoming, yet we don't get the same treatment from others. And I have no stinking clue why. T. Rogers, reform millionaire, says so true. Cypher, I'd love to read what you're putting, but I'm not sure if that's appropriate. Okay. Reform millionaire, all races should be sent to reform education camps. Well, I definitely think we need a comprehensive, from pre-K on in every public school and private, but they'll never do it, that is anti-racist education, and to work against what parents are teaching their children and allowing their children to believe, think, and be indoctrinated into. It would take a generation. I'm not talking a special. I'm talking a regular class 5 days a week. And obviously it would be appropriate stuff for the little kids, and it would get and build. White America needs to know the truth about systemic racism in America and our own racial history. And that's a big, big, dirty secret. And the only way a majority of white folks are ever going to come to grips with the problems we have today is if we learn our own racial history. And we're not going to learn it from schools the way school textbooks are laid out. I mean, the teachers, to be honest, most of the teachers don't know their own racial history if they're white teachers. They don't know it. How can they teach the kids? It's not in the books. It's whitewashed over. It's made to sound pretty and lovely, and details matter. Details matter. This is who we are. And until we look in that mirror, we're really, our nation's going down. I truly believe that racism is the cause of almost every problem we have in the United States. It's the reason we can't all get together against the wealthiest elites and say, we want this nation to represent us. We're too busy being racist against, although the white folks that would normally kind of be able to join in, we're indoctrinated. It's disgusting. I'm going to shut up now. Tried to. Let me see. Okay, I see a lot of like inner conversation, which is great. I'm just going to kind of skip to the ones to rebuild it. The only thing that changes is time and technology, especially in America, based on the caste system, economics, and capitalism. Don't you think? GETV News. I don't know what to think anymore. Just being real. I don't know. I know that there is a huge push to not let go of the systemic racism. It is making people wealthy. And when people are wealthy, capitalism on steroids is what we have going. It was never meant to be anything more than an economic system. It's a lifestyle now. I'm going to be obnoxious and jump in and say right now, interruption. If you believe like I do that it's way past time for white America to learn our real racial history and get with the program and start giving a shit about our fellow humans, please consider subscribing. If you support what I'm trying to do, which is basically get a conversation going with white people involved and have white people see, like, I'm the average white person and I really care about my fellow humans. And if you see me talking and surviving, I talk about racism all the time. I live through it every time and I learn tons every day. Then maybe someone else will give it a try, because until we stand up for our brothers and sisters, and that is who they are. We are all related. I'm not trying to get all weird on you, but we are all human beings. We are distant relatives. Why would we treat our relatives like shit? It's terrible. So, and there's no reason for it. Please consider subscribing and bringing some of your friends along. It's a tough place because the white people, for the most part, pretty much hate me, which is perfectly fine. I mean, they can hate me all they want. Just speaking the truth. And black folks don't trust me, which is absolutely understandable. I wouldn't trust me either. And I'm trying to just get white folks to start giving a shit about someone other than us, about our fellow humans. Like I always say, it's a terrible analogy, but I can't think of too many better ones. Would you walk by somebody who is slowly drowning in a pool because you didn't build the pool? You were born into the system. Oh, I didn't build the system. Well, you know what? Of course not. Then why in the world do white people walk by our black brothers and sisters, our brown brothers and sisters, our indigenous brothers and sisters, because we were born into this and, it's not our problem. Yes, it actually is our problem. We created the problem. It's our doing. We have a white person problem in America. That's what we have. Would you walk by them slowly drowning in a pool because you didn't shove them in? Of course not. Would you walk by someone who is slowly drowning and say, I didn't push you in, not my fault? No. Then why in the world do we pretend we don't see systemic racism? It's not fair, it's cruel, it's abusive, and it's a crime against humanity, an ongoing one. Okay, I'm going to shut up. Sorry, just get a little bit hyper on these things. Let me take more comments. To be real about it, the only thing that changed... Yeah, I don't know, GETV. I'm triggered. I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. I thought like there was a glimmer of hope, and I'm not sure. I don't want to be the soothsayer of doom here. The way Asians treat Africans in China is disgraceful too. Yeah, there's some. China's having some really big issues, really big issues with taking advantage of people in Africa actually, and they have huge issues with black people. It's not everybody, but it's a lot of people. It's a lot. It's a ton. I won't tell you how I know this. If you know me really well, you'll know how I know this. Carried back. T. Rogers just saw what you did 25 comments ago. People are taught to hate black people, perhaps a mistype, but still 100% accurate. I think it was hate. Gated communities are meant to keep black people out. Okay, there we go. Very good. That's funny. Yeah, I think she meant hate, but yeah, right. Okay. Why aren't something people racist to Asians? I'm not 100%. Are you saying why aren't black people racist to Asians or white people? I'm not sure what your question is. So I hate to say it, reformed millionaire, but write it again. You're going to hate me. It was, and I don't know the answer to that, but I can always give an opinion. It was a mistype, but the gate thing is true. Gigi, to be honest, I stopped shopping with Asians, not spending my money where I'm not respected, not spending my money anywhere I'm not respected. I think that's a great idea. If you can do that, if you can swing it, don't do it. God, don't do it. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but no way. Don't do it. Easy for me to say, but yeah, money gives you power. T. Rogers, yes, you're saying what I feel. Absolutely. Oh, I hit the bottom. Yay. T. Rogers, this has been going on since the beginning of time. White people figured out that in order to have the power, you keep yourself or your race up by keeping others down. Economics 101. Yep. It's unbelievable how good we got at it. That's kind of weird. Ronald, you trust me. Yay. Thank you. I always tell people, you can't, as a white person, you can't prove anything. You can't say anything to make a black person or a brown person or indigenous person trust you. It is your behavior over time. And that's it. And you know what? They still might not trust you, and we've earned it. I mean, we have earned that 10,000 times over. It's just, I don't hate white people. I'm just being real about it. So white folks need to get themselves educated. And because we have a real white person problem in this country. And that's what I call it. And that's what it's going to be called by me, because it's the truth. And I can't stand that people think it's a black person problem. That's a lie. That's a lie based on the power, the power white people have there. We got issues, people. We got issues. So my goal in life is to try to get white people to care. And people say, oh, you're so belittling. I'm not belittling. I'm speaking the truth about history. It's not belittling. The truth, if I was a history teacher talking about anything else, white people would not be offended. The truth is hard to handle. It is. You got to be kind of brave to do this, but you got to do it. T. Rogers, Kim, you have proven yourself as genuine and trustworthy. I understand where you're coming from, but I trust you. Thank you. You are so sweet. And I have so many incredibly nice friends, Black, brown, indigenous, everything. And I trust them and they trust me, and it makes me very, very happy. But the bottom line, right, Gigi, you can't change things that you don't acknowledge. Right, because that's why when people say, one of the worst things a white person can ever say, and this sounds ridiculous, is, I'm not racist. And, okay, of course nobody wants to be racist. I get that. But once you've said that, you've said, you're not this. That's not me. So that means you are no longer believing you're racist. You are no longer doing introspection. You are no longer learning your real racial history. You are no longer trying to figure out what this system is all about. You've stopped learning. You've basically said, I'm not racist, and so there we are. And that is the most dangerous place to be, because you are now an observer. You're not changing. You're not helping support equity. So it's a really rough thing. But anyway, I'm just blabbing. But thank you for all the nice comments. I know I skipped some people. If you want me to keep going, I will definitely reread it if you bring it up. So let me talk really quickly about civil rights leaders have called upon George to pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. And I just want to read a quick about it in case people aren't 100% up with it, so you can talk about it if you know about it, and I want to know what you think. It's actually kind of a complicated thing. On February 24th, 2021, as reported by the NAACP and many, many other news outlets it wasn't last week, it was the week before, civil rights leaders called upon the U.S. representatives to pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, a critical step towards holding law enforcement accountable for unconstitutional and unethical conduct, which, God, it just happens constantly, all over. The 2020 killing of George Floyd sparked a year of national protests in all 50 states and all of the country, all over the world, calling for the end of police brutality against Black and brown communities and a demand for accountability in every sector of law enforcement. Every single day I see something going on that police have done in America. We have allowed this. We have normalized this. And it's disgusting. According to the leaders of the Policing Act, addressing this nation's history of violence, discrimination, policing requires passing legislation that advances systemic reform rooted in transparency and accountability. It's the responsibility of the federal government to set standards on justice, policing, and safety. And that statement says it all. That we have so little involvement with standards, minimum standards from our federal government for justice, policing, and safety is disgusting. A vital step in this process is the passage of the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, which recognizes the importance of stripping law enforcement of qualified immunity. Qualified immunity? I'm sorry, look who we are giving guns to. For the love of God. No training. We're giving guns to people who are uneducated. I'm sorry, we are. Who have records of a higher level of spousal abuse and whatnot. And it is not okay. This is not how things happen in other countries. But this, let me see, what else did they say about this? Creating a national registry of police misconduct complaints. So they cannot just go department to department, switching. Oh, I shot somebody, in cold blood with impunity. Here, I'll go somewhere else. And it constantly happens. It's just going on and on and on. That we don't have a national registry on people is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. So, declaring prohibition for law enforcement profiling. It's time for our national government to step up to the plate, limiting the transfer of military-grade equipment to state and local law enforcement, and restricting funds from law enforcement agencies that do not prohibit the use of chokeholds. We are allowing the murder of our fellow humans. I don't know what you guys think. I don't know if people know enough about this to, determine whether it's going to work, but something at the federal level, for the love of God, something. And then I have a bunch of statements, which I'll read a couple of them. But first, T. Rogers. Kim, we've got to get white people to not focus so much on themselves individually, but more on racism as a system. Right. And that is so huge, because when we're focusing on racism about, I hear a potty cat. 1 second. Excuse me for 1 second. Okay, sorry for the delay. I'm back. Anyway, that is absolutely right. We are so defensive. We're just so defensive, and we got to understand it's not about us. It's about a system. And until white folks get that, you're right. It's just not gonna, it's so horrible for us, because we're like, oh, they're talking about me. No, we're talking about a system. So thank you for that. Let me just, I'm so sorry. We got cats. We got kids. What's going on here? I apologize. Ay. It's a disaster. I have a crazy cat that is getting older. Anyway, it won't sink in until they realize that, yep, we're too busy, because white folks were just too busy, like, thinking defensive. It's us. My cat, Gigi, my cat's crazy. I love him, but he's cuckoo. He's very old. Anyway, Derek Johnson, the president of, Nathan, welcome. Oh my gosh, what a great treat. We're just going on about this bill they're trying to pass, which will give, at the federal level, it's called the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, and at the federal level will set some freaking standards already. God. This should have been done decades ago. So I don't even get me started. But so here's some statements from some of the people who met to create this bill together. And it is in a statement, Derek Johnson, the president and chief executive officer of the NAACP, said the following. And I think it's important to hear from the leaders, because they're the ones who threw this together. And it's very detailed. The George Floyd Justice and Policing Act seeks to hold our system of justice accountable at a time when transparency and liability are lacking. Sounds like an understatement. We've witnessed far too many deaths at the hands of law enforcement with little or no recourse. It's long overdue that we reimagine public safety in our communities and rethink policing. This piece of legislation is aimed to do just that. Cheryl Eiffel, she's the president and director of the Council for the NAACP Legal Defense and Education Fund. The killing of George Floyd held up a mirror to the truth about the American legal system. It showed us in the most stark and irrefutable ways that there are deep fundamental problems with how this country allows law enforcement to intimidate, abuse, torture, and kill unarmed black people. Among the powerful reasons Americans were moved to action in the wake of the killing of George Floyd was watching Derek Chauvin's reaction to being recorded. He stared at us with his hand in his pocket, believing that nothing was going to happen to him, that he would face neither criminal penalty nor civil liability. He sat there with this smug little fucking look on his face as he was snuffing the life out of a human being. And that is unconscionable. I hope it, Ramses, I hope it passes. I hope that passes. It will end qualified immunity. Me too. That's disgusting. Give the most corrupt gang on the planet a gun, tasers, military equipment, and qualified immunity to murder whoever they want. The most racist people on the planet. I'm sorry. I know there are some good police, but they should get out because the police in general is corrupt as hell. And if you aren't doing it, you're watching someone do it and not turning them in. And I'm sure there are some places that have all good police, but they've got to be few and far between. This, we all know, it's right in it's out in the open, just like slavery was. Out in the open, an evil, cruel, inhumane thing right out in the open. This whole police relationship we have going. It's all this blue line, this thin blue line. We all know about it. They know about it. And we don't do a damn thing about it. And that's disgusting. It's just like slavery was. We all see it. And at the time when we were, I wasn't obviously alive then, but you know it was wrong. And people say, oh, it was the times. Sorry, not buying it. Life's life. Humans are humans. We all know that. So anyway, there's a couple other things. There's a couple quotes that were really, really good. The president of the National Urban League said, excessive deadly force against black Americans runs deeper than the tragic death of George Floyd. The United States uses brutal police force to control black Americans. It can be traced back to the slave patrols of the 1700s and the black codes of the 1860s to 1870s. Now it's time for Congress to pass the Justice in Policing Act to ensure that no person under color of law can act unilaterally as a cop, judge, jury, and executioner in this country. The previous Congress failed to do its job. The Congress must meet the challenge of today and send this important piece of legislation to the president's desk. I say abso-stinkin-lutely. T. Rogers, we've got to see the humanity in people instead of the race. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll read one more. And anyone who wants to call in or say anything, go ahead. There were so many leaders, great leaders at this thing that it's something like about the brown skin intimidates or offends people. I don't get it. I understand the idea, but I don't get it. So it doesn't matter if I get it or not. It's just, I keep thinking as this arrogant white person, if I could just get it, maybe I could help better or whatever. I'm not trying to be a savior. I can't stand systemic racism. I can't stand it. Personally, it's all about me, people. I can't stand it. Living in a society like this, it's all for nothing. It's all for a lie. We know we're not supreme white supremacy. Give me a break. If the best thing you ever did in your life is get born white, I'm sorry. That's ridiculous. It's just skin color, folks. And it's just skin. That's all it is. That's all it is. If white folks could actually become close friends with black people, we would catch on really easily. It's not just one bad apple. Absolutely not. Anymore, it's the whole bunch and barrel police. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's the whole bad apple thing. We are so over that. That's a joke. You cannot simultaneously watch someone do abhorrent racist things and consider yourself in the clear. No. Nope. And you know what happens to police who snitch. So we have, it's all out in the open. Just like it's a disgusting, disgusting thing that we've normalized is allowing police to murder with impunity. And they murder white people too. It's just the percentage wise. White people, hello, we don't want this either, do we? I don't know. Apparently we do. Because I think what a lot of white folks do is they're so freaking racist they can't see straight. And so they basically go against their own best interest just to keep racism alive and thriving. I don't know why else. I can't think of anything else. Reverend Al Sharpton, founder and president of the National Action Network, said the lynching by knee of a law enforcement officer, George Floyd, is to this generation of civil rights that was the lynching of Emmett Till, was to the generation of our grandparents. Therefore, passing the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act is as important in this time Civil Rights Act as the 1964 and the Voting Rights Act 1965 was in that era. The Civil Rights Movement of the 50s and the 60s. The Senate must now act, now that the Senate, the Senate must now act. A vote against this bill is against civil rights, and the passage of this will send a message to police lynchings that they will not be tolerated, and all police will not be above the law. Gigi, you, Dana Stevens, American Doofus Challenge, and Dixon are breath. Oh, thank you. I loved it. Dixon's a good friend of mine, and Dana Stevens, we've talked. I know him. Thank you. This should be the norm. Dixon, me, and I don't know American Doofus Channel. I don't know that one. I know Dana. This should be the norm. All white people should be doing this. It's until there's nothing left to do. This should not be the exception. I'm sorry. It makes me sick. And that's one of the reasons I asked you for your support. I might not be the best speaker. I might not be the best writer, but I care so much. And I want to do anything I can to do my part and use my white privilege to stand up and do good for my brothers and sisters, because this systemic racism is disgusting. Don't even get me started, but thank you, G. I appreciate it a lot. And that's an honor to be put in that category. There's a lot of other things that people are saying. There were so many Black leaders there. Like, I could go on. I'm going to skip down to the next topic. And this is kind of really important because I want to know what you think, and I'm going to race through it. Thank you, Gigi. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. This is something that a lot of people might have experienced. I'm not sure. I can't speak to this. I'm not a Black person. I can't. But I can sure as heck learn from you all, and from reading, and from just, experience and media and movies and my friends. Thank you. The next topic, 10 things white bosses and coworkers do to shut down racism talk at work. And I don't mean being racist. I mean shut down when you say, I have a problem. This is not working for me. And I can go over 10, but there's so many more. I want to know what you've experienced at work to add to my categories, if you have. Or if you agree with my categories, or just anything like that. So, number one, I'll read them off real fast so it's not too boring. They tend to avoid confrontation, or simply not educated enough to even approach the subject in a sophisticated manner. Think about how educated you have to be in cultural competency to deal with, I'm talking small companies, to deal with a problem with racism within your company or your branch. Think about that. Not everybody has a giant, public, a giant, what's it called? I'm blanking on the word, an area where they can get specialists to come in and work with people. Small companies don't have this kind of stuff. If a boss or someone who's in charge or a manager is not culturally competent enough to handle it, they avoid it. They tell you, talking about it makes it worse. Thanks. And then they also, number two I have is they talk about what the white person cares about or thinks, rather than listening to what the Black, brown, or indigenous person is saying. After all, they're the experts. They live it every day, but we make it about us if we're white. And I'm talking about white bosses and business owners. what we do to stop the conversation, end the conversation when a racist event occurs to a staff member or employee. We make it like reporting your coworker for confronting you about a microaggression. You're the bad guy. We do that. We make the black person the bad guy when, they're the ones that are the victim of this. We say they're stirring up things, and most white people get very stressed about having to even talk about racism, let alone in general having to be the one to help facilitate a problem. And even more at work, because it's really scary. Because if you're abused at work, you got to go to work. You cannot avoid it. And in general, white bosses are not competent to handle this. The boss will sometimes brush it off and say, oh, they didn't mean it like that, or you're just being sensitive. They'll deny you. They'll say the reason they're doing that is for something else. It's apologist stuff. They're basically telling you you're oversensitive. It's you. It's demeaning, and it's just rude. It dissolves the responsibility of the white person and the white boss. Sometimes the boss will play nice, pretend that, oh, it's okay, let's just not make waves. We all know they're like that. Hoping the problem will go away. People have been told, these are all things that people have had happen, my friends have. A coworker, they'll say, oh, just suck it up. Everyone has rude things said to them. Yours just happens to be racist rude things. No, sorry, not the same. No. First, that places responsibility on the victim and not on the oppressor. And it also keeps you from full participation in the workplace, since you have to basically avoid this person at work. It's incredibly wrong. Telling you that the client is always right, so you have to put up with a racist client. That's terrible, terrible, terrible. Oh, Carried Back, intense show tonight. Hate to leave early, but I have to get up early for family stuff. Thank you so much, Carried Back, for being here. You are wonderful. I am thrilled to have you tonight. I totally understand. I do too. Bye, everybody. No. Thank you so much for being here. Awesome. Thanks for saying goodnight. You're such a great asset to this conversation, as always. Number 8, when supervisors don't take it seriously, they're sending you the message that you're the troublemaker, and that they look at you like your complaint is just venting. It's like, no, you actually need something done about this. This is not going away. If somebody in your workplace is overtly racist to the point where they are harassing, traumatizing you in any way, shape, or form, that is not going to suddenly just stop for the most part, because they're getting away with it. So bosses cannot be uneducated. Yeah, Mr. F.S. Black, hello. Now, I was not aware. I know his case very well, but I don't. Kim, I don't know if you are aware, but a few days ago, Elijah McClain would have been 25 years old. Sadly, he's no longer with us, and the police officer who murdered him is still free. That was one of the... It's a horrific thing. I just hope that this law that we're talking about the George Floyd law, that it'll actually do something. I think it'll pass. I think we can get it passed. But how will it be, how will states be forced to, follow the rules? It has been so long. We have needed, at the federal level, minimum standards. And get rid of this immunity. My God. It's disgusting. It's like, let's give people who have incredible problems themselves, who are incredibly racist, who are in an incredibly racist culture in and of itself, the blue line, the thin blue line, let's give them all guns and let them shoot whoever they want and get away with it. Oh my God. I mean, it does not take a lot of great brains to know that it's not a good thing. Another thing that white bosses can often do is, and I'm not saying they're doing it on purpose, but see, with racism, intent doesn't matter. I mean, maybe it does in a one-on-one situation, but for the person you're hurting, it doesn't really matter if you meant it or not. It happened. And the pain is still, I mean, I guess if you didn't mean it, I guess that maybe a little less. I don't know. But a lot of times a boss will bring up that racism is largely over and not a problem. And that it's just, it's really not something to be worried about. Just stay away from them. Well, that's not a viable thing. Stay away from a coworker. Good luck with that if you're in a small company and have to actually, work with people. How about get rid of the coworker? That's my solution. Sorry. I would have a zero tolerance policy and I'd have training. Well, I'd have training every day. These people would be so well versed in everything. But yeah, it's a lifetime commitment for white folks. And most of us, have not only not made the commitment, we haven't even noticed the need for the commitment. That's how bad off we are. So, and the last thing people often say is they'll kind of make it like you're playing the race card, and because they're so out of it. And the last thing I have is that white bosses will say, well, it's just part of life, just kind of ignore it. It's an inevitable part of society. And to that, I call total BS. If you can be taught to be racist, you can be untaught. And that is that. And Get TV, great show tonight. It's very educational. So we're going to go to say goodnight as well. Thank you so much for being here, GETV. I appreciate your input. You are wonderful. And have a great night. I know it's getting late. Getting very late for me too. The last things I have here are, Mr. F is Black. It needs to be enforced that a badge is not a license to murder. And right now a badge is a license to murder. And I think we all know that. Less than 1% ever get anything. Less than 1 out of every 100 horrific atrocities. It's a freebie. It's a murder for free card. And I'm sorry, I'm just saying how it seems. The last thing I had was March 4th, QAnon conspiracy, still alive. Don't get it. Don't want to get it. I have a bunch of stuff on that. And then I put up a couple videos on Dr. Seuss and racism. And I think that people need to just chill about getting 6 books that are not going to be printed again. They shouldn't be printed again. I've gotten more crap from people today about that. Maybe I'll just read that and then we'll wrap it up. The Business That Preserves Dr. Seuss's Legacy announced Tuesday that 6 of the celebrated authors' books for children are going to be not published anymore because of racist imagery. And I looked up some of the racist imagery. And it was racist imagery. It was absolutely racist imagery. And this is from ABC and a lot of other news sources. The move has sparked like a ton of backlash from conservatives who say it's another example of cancel culture, and they reignite the debate over promoting classic but problematic books. But you see, here's the problem: this is not cancel culture. The man wrote a lot of books. Some of them are decent books. I don't know what your morals tell you about allowing your children to read a book by a person who is overtly racist. If the book isn't racist, that's a personal decision for you to make. However, they are not canceling every one of Dr. Seuss's books. People need to chill out. I just put a video up on it today, and part of it says chill the F out. 6 books is not cancel culture. There are 6 books that have overt racism in them. Why in the world would you want your child reading those? Hello. Unless you're a racist yourself. So I'm sorry. Cancel culture is it's canceling a culture that white folks in America love, called systemic racism. And so, yeah, sure. Cancel it. Oh, well. It's a culture that should be canceled. That's just my take. Not all cancel culture is good, but racist books for kids? I'm sorry. Not even a close call. That was a choice. So anyway, thank you so much, everybody. If you feel like I do, that it is way past time for white America to learn our real racial history, to step up to the plate, and to just act human. to our fellow brothers and sisters. And please consider subscribing and supporting my videos by watching them so they move up in that crazy ranking on YouTube and people can see them who would normally not get to see them. So thank you so much for everything tonight. Don't forget, Sunday 3 to 5, I'm doing free streaming this Sunday. And basically I hang out and people will call and talk to me. And that's it. And it doesn't have to be on racism. It doesn't have to be on anything. It can just be anything you want. And on that same Sunday is our first book club with this book. If you want to be a panelist, I would love it. I have a couple people so far that are going to do it. You do not have to have your face on, you don't have to have your face on like video, just your voice. And we will practice ahead of time. T. Rogers, the Dr. Seuss thing is one of the many things that needs to be addressed, which is why we should be focusing, addressing it as a whole instead. T. Rogers, tell me, you mean like in a separate show or what, or like as a community, or tell me more. I'm kind of get what you're saying, but I'm not 100% sure. But I want to know. But yeah, it's there's been a lot of people like writing into me in my YouTube channel going, oh, it's cancel culture. Oh, it's our culture. I'm like, well, you know what? It's a part of our culture that we really shouldn't be flaunting and be proud of. If it's a part of your culture that much, then you're a racist piece of shit. Sorry. I mean, oh, look at the comment right before. Thank you. Yes. I just feel like it's just putting a Band-Aid on it, not tackling the source. Yeah, right. Canceling, you know, I totally, I agree with you. I absolutely do. Things that are already part of our culture that are like that, like we got to get rid of them though. Like not everything should be attributed to cancel culture. Sometimes it's just a correct, not a cancellation. Right, 100%. And this is not canceling out anything. This is getting rid of something that should never have been there in the beginning to begin with, and is disgusting. And I agree 100%. No one's being shut down. It's overt racism. Our children should not have to deal with overt racism like that in their literature. Sorry. It's just, it's something that should have been done so long ago, but yeah. People will call it, people will call it T-Rogers, I totally know what you mean. It's not enough. And if that was all that was happening, absolutely. I mean, I think what you're saying is like, that's lovely to cancel books, but come on. That's right. The bigger picture is so much more severe and intense and whatnot. Yeah. If that's what you're saying, absolutely. But I also think like we should just, hey, we can get rid of systemic racism and get rid of nasty books and nasty things and nasty signs too. Like the Aunt Jemima thing and I think we can do it all. And we should. And that's just my white opinion. But I get what you're saying. The bigger picture is systemic racism, right? But lucky for us, I think we should do it all because, yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I absolutely do. And yeah, the bigger picture is obviously much more impactful, much more important. But this kind of thing, I think we need to be examining. We can multitask. While we're waiting to try to, and that's just my opinion. I usually don't like throw my opinion as a white person out, but as a white person, I know very well that white folks, we got a long ways to go. Anything and everything is better than nothing. We have to make it crystal clear that it is over. The days of being a proud white supremacist are done. People don't really understand why, instead of the minutes thing like that. Tell me more. They don't understand why about the like the books and stuff. We were looking. My daughter and I were looking it up, trying to. You can't even get a picture of the darn things now. Nobody wants to put it up. I wanted to show her exactly what was wrong with it, and it was good. But we had trouble finding some of the stuff, actually. But I'm not sure if you're still here. But Tell me more. People won't really understand why instead of minute things like that. Got it. Minutes, huh? Duh. Hello. Minute things. Got it. You used a big word with me. Yeah. Right. I 100% get that. Yeah. They won't. It's not teaching them anything. It's not. Like, we get more resistance from white people when they don't really understand the reason behind it. Exactly. Yeah. That's a really good point. They're like, what? They're just taking away the books? Why are they doing that? But because they're so far off from understanding that they don't realize how, like, we're just so, think about, what I say, 100%, I get it now. Think about how bad off you think white folks are with their, knowledge and lack of knowledge of racism and systemic racism and whatnot, and multiply it by a gazillion. And to be honest, T. Rogers, you are so right, but a lot of us, we don't want to know. I mean, we're not exactly bending over backwards to try to learn. So I guess it's just a matter of stopping that cycle of racism, that familiar cycle. Each generation teaches the next generation how to be a racist piece of shit. We gotta somehow stop it. We have to do it. But they need to understand why, right? And that's why, like we were talking before, a lot of times I'll make a video that just shows our real racial history. I don't have to preach, don't be racist, don't be this, guilt, this, and that. Anyone with half a brain can see that we did this. It was purposeful. Inner city poverty, we did this on purpose. White people did this. It wasn't an accident. It was 100% on purpose. And if you know our real racial history, then no one needs to preach to you. You'll realize how wrong it was, and stopping people from accumulating generational wealth and just everyday racism and every system of racism in the nation, and you'll catch on. And you'll want to know more if you care. And you'll want to know more and more and more. And on that note, thank you so much for being here tonight. I put out a video that was kind of intense on black hair and like kind of what white folks should know about, very, very basic, because that's kind of what I do. I guess it's just the teacher in me. I know you're oh my God, I'm so much like that too. I want them to get it, right? And that's why I did stop a number of times today online and explain to basically what, little elderly white people was, for some reason, like, oh, I love those books. And it's like, look, it's not all the books. And I try to explain to them, this is not called cancel culture. Yeah, to truly grasp it and to move up the anti-racism continuum, we need to understand it, not just be told, no, that is racist. And that's why we were looking it up, actually, we saw some of it and we're like, yeah, that's pretty bad. So thank you, T. Rogers. You're wonderful. You want to teach, and that's like beautiful. I love it. So if you want to support my videos, watch them, tell me what you think, and send them to your friends. And I know everyone loves the books. It's just we can't have the racist ones, totally. And that's understandable. And I know. We all learn on them and stuff, but it's sort of funny. The 6 really, really super racist ones were, I don't even think I had. I might have had one of them, but when I read the stories tonight, I'm like, I don't recognize the story. So anyway, thank you so much for being here. Please check out my hair video. Call it my hair video. And I have a couple more coming up on how to raise children who... Gigi, thank you. Oh my God, I'm bowing down to you. Thank you. Oh my God, compliment of the night. Thank you so much. I don't think I had those 6. Yeah, they weren't like, the mulberry one was kind of popular, but the other ones were kind of obscure. So, but still really bad. So no one's taking away your Dr. Seuss. No one's saying, that's what I always like say to the white folks, like, no one's taking them away, but we need to speak the truth. And if you saw some of his old writings and his old caricatures of like a cartooning, he was really bad. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, he was bad. He was like, and overt racist. I don't really get it. I mean, I love the Lorax. Greetings and ham, and I'm glad it wasn't one of them. Me too. And mine is Horton Hears a Who. And how can somebody be racist and write Horton Hears a Who? I don't get it. His family member claims that he moved along with time, gone with, oh yeah. I haven't actually never seen that, but I've heard about it. Yeah. But his family members claim that he's moved along with time, but the people who, do his books absolutely were like, we get it. We're getting rid of him. So, it's too much. Dang, yeah, I've never seen the movie. I don't know. What's wrong with me? All right, I'm going to say goodnight to everybody. Thank you so much for being here. And come by Saturday to say hi and tell me about you and who you are. And I will be in touch with people who want to be on the panel for the book. The book. I'm excited about Sunday at 9. So, good night, everybody. And again, if you believe like I do, that it's way past time white America takes some racial responsibility and learns our real racial history so we can support real equity and justice. Please consider subscribing and sending my videos to your friends, even though it's kind of awkward because you're maybe hinting to them like you're really racist, but I don't know how it goes. Just place it somewhere. All right. A lot of those old writers display the racism of that era. Yeah. Good night. Good night, Mr. Evans Black. Thank you for being here. Always appreciate you. Good night, everybody. Right. I know. Thanks, Gigi, and thank you, T. Rogers. Thank you, Mr. Evans Black. And who am I missing? Thank you to everybody for being here. I can't even scroll. Good night. Stay safe. Ronald, you're still here. Yay. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Talk to you soon. Bye. I'm starving. Me starving.